Welcome to Educated Bowlers, Marshall's only adult program. Tonight's episode contains an interview with Ramona Norton, who is a scholar in the field of the psychology of race. Enjoy, folks.
Angle?
It's a perfect angle.
Good size?
Yeah. So, you are a Negro?
You better erase that.
Why?
I am not starting with that kind of bullshit. I don't think it's funny.
Not funny. We're trying to begin a topic which is fraught with bizarre categories, right? So I just brought up this category. Do you
Right.
consider yourself a Negro?
I suppose, my initial response tells you what I feel, gives you an idea of what I feel, how I feel about racial categories, and how loaded terms such as Negro, even black, or any kind of racial categorization, classification.
Eskimo?
Well, that's more of a cultural rather than racial.
Do you consider yourself an Eskimo? But tell the viewer what you believe your race, because our viewers are the sort of people, or some of our viewers are the sort of people who who believe in the concept of race. They think there is such a thing as race. So if they were to kind of investigate your lineages, your parents' lineages, what do you think they would then conclude your race was?
Well, I know it would depend on what region of the country, if we were talking about the United States, what region of the country I was in. When I'm in the Midwest, whites invariably understand me and classify me, I guess classify and then understand me as an African American, black. And however, when I'm on the East Coast in Northern Virginia, where I come from, because it is so culturally heterogeneous, I'm understood as usually mixed race. I could also be mistaken for Hispanic, or people really don't know. They know that though I'm a combination of different so-called racial groups. Are you sure that you're not cutting off my head? Because when you don't look in the camera, you frequently cut off people's heads.
Nope, it's all there.
We'll see you later.
So
However,
what do you?
when I'm in...
So you sound like you object to being classified as an African American.
Let me finish and then I'll answer that. Excuse me. And then when I was recently in Florida, and I want to bring this up so that our European American audience doesn't believe I'm singling them out. African Americans in that region of the country tend to be what some people would call unmixed. In other words, they're not apparently mixed with white or Indian, and
not as apparently.
Not as apparently. They're darker in complexion, and their hair is more stereotypically African American, whatever. And recently, when I was down there having my hair done by a woman who I would think identifies herself as African American, I didn't realize until she was almost done doing my hair that she did not think that I was black or partly black. She asked me if I guess after she felt comfortable with me, if I had some black in me. And now in that area, it is there's a large Hispanic population, Latin American population. So I suppose she thought that, which of course is uh, it's well known that that is a mixed race ethnic group, and so it made sense to her because of my appearance. Because my appearance, I do not have the dark complexion that the African Americans in that area have, and my hair is not as textured or kinky, that I could be Hispanic, you know. And she was surprised to find out that I was uh, partly black. So it depends on
So you
where I
believe
am.
there is such a thing
What?
as black?
Uh, is that the question I was supposed to go back to? Or you asked me, do I have a problem? It sounds as if I have a problem with being black or something like that.
Being called
Being called
or
black.
viewed as?
No, I don't have a problem with being viewed as black because I embrace all of the groups to which I belong, uh, if you will. I
Don't
have
we
a
all
problem.
just belong to the same group,
I
though,
have,
really?
yeah, we do. I have a problem with someone categorizing me, and it doesn't matter what category that is, but I have a problem with just being categorized and understood from uh, that reference point, you know, um, being labeled. And not, you know, no one, these people that do this don't take any time to find out who you are. I'm hardly, and this goes to your second question, I'm hardly a racial group. I'm,
Well, when someone
I
views
belong
you,
to the human race like everybody else. And
when someone views you as African American, do you think that they are really assuming that? How are they defining African American? How do you think they're defining African American as a physical thing, as though there's some real physical qualifications, let's say, to be called, you know, African American? What are the physical qualifications, as though it was a subspecies almost? Or do you think that they are saying essentially that you have a certain culture about you, a certain world view that is the black world view, you know, and that would be, I guess, something that even whites could have. Whites could be black in the sense of somebody like Eminem or something who purports to have a black take on the world.
all right, I just want you to check and see because this camera's moving down further and further. No, I think it's the former. I think that people, your average person, believes, most people, I should say, have an average view or something like that of race, and they believe that race, which is you're thrown into a racial category based on your physical appearance, on average, you know, characteristics associated with, you know, um, supposedly associated with the group. They believe that race defines who you are, and uh, your appearance basically defines who you are. And of course, there has been there's a history of defining non-whites um, in ways in negative ways, in ways that are designed um, to negatively differentiate them from so-called white people. And so when a person categorizes me as black, what's coming with that is a whole set of not only false assumptions, but negative assumptions, about my psychological characteristics, about my behavioral inclinations, about my preferences, about my moral inclinations, about my sexual inclinations, so on and so forth. And so that is what I'm opposed to, is the stereotypes associated, the negative stereotypes associated with this fiction called race. I mean, after all, there are physical characteristics that would be associated with people, with different groups of people that were found themselves in different environments and this and that, but it's not as if we're all not, it's not as if there are pure racial groups.
There are no racial groups at all.
There are no racial groups at all, exactly. It's a fiction. And so that's what, now if someone were referring to me as an African American in cultural terms and saying she has some cultural characteristics that
Like she's blackified?
And I don't even know what that would be for me, because I truly think of myself as a multicultural person. I don't where the black culture and where the white culture and the Indian culture begin and end, I could not tell you. It is a true, I've embraced all of those cultures, and they are all a part of me. I cannot separate them at all. But most people are not referring to any cultural characteristics like that, and are not appreciative of those cultural characteristics. And that's indirectly answering your one of your first questions.
My previous query.
Which is, I see myself as multiracial and multi-ethnic, and I am African American. I am Native American, Piscataway of the Kanuai tribe, and I am white. And what I mean by white, I should say European American, because whites are, there is no homogeneous white race either, and that's, I know from my family history that is British and of British descent, English descent, and Irish descent. All three of those things.
Do you ever think of yourself as the bomb?
Shut up, Joe. I don't even know what you mean.
Yeah, well, I was thinking that the one thing our viewers might do is to...
Your camera's moving.
Yeah, you just worry about your own...
I just want to make sure that my best side is being shown.
Well, turn around then.
Not cutting off my head like you usually do. It's important that people see my face and my eyes when they hear me talk about this, because I take this topic very seriously, and I want them to know that I'm sincere.
You're kind of like me with 90210. Same thing when I talk about that.
And I think that you should be taking it very seriously, too, because it is the source of lots of evil in the world.
Yeah. Well, you know,
the fiction of race and racism.
Yeah, well, I was going to bring up the point that that our viewers might...
Ethnic genocide.
Our viewers might consider...
and it's a source of a lot of pain for individuals.
Yeah, well, I was going to suggest that our viewers consider that the thing that drives home the fiction of... There's two things to be pointed out. The first is that race as a physiological thing, as